It's been a while since I've posted a pack opening, so enjoy that, but I'm going to be talking about something that's been a problem in 2K games for many years, and it's kind of like the 1-3-1 zone. You know, everybody's doing this, but you shouldn't even be able to do it in the first place. A very common strategy in 2K is to take these tall players, guys like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, take these scorers and then play them at the point guard position. And there's really no consequence for doing that. So that's why guys are using James Harden. I've seen people put Durant at point guard, Carmelo at point guard, and it really ruins the game. Now I know that there's already people typing right now in the comments section why they believe that this is not a problem and you should be able to do this and blah, 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 because this is much like the 1-3-1 zone. This is exactly like it. The resistance that people had when you would talk about the 1-3-1 zone and how no teams in the league are using this zone, and a lot of people that do play this way, that put these guys that are not point guards at the point guard position, they're going to try to defend this cheese the same way they tried to defend the 1-3-1 zone cheese. I'm a prophet. I can see the comments right now. LeBron James is a point guard. He's a point forward. He can play point guard. He can dribble and pass. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to a website called Basketball Reference. This is a fantastic website because they show you all kind of stats. But what we're gonna use this site for is to look at the lineups that teams are actually using in the NBA, because they track all of that. So throughout the entire game, all the games, they look at who's on the floor at what times, and you can see who's playing together and what teams are doing. And if we take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, if we go back to his first team, the first time he was on the Cavs, when he went to the finals in 2007 to play the Spurs, the starting lineup in game one was Larry Hughes. That was the point guard. They had Sasha Pavlovich. They had LeBron James at small forward, Drew Gooden, and Big Z. Then, of course, as the series went on, they started favoring Daniel Gibson. So some games he was in there playing point guard. They also had Eric Snow and Damon Jones at the point guard position. So the Cavs got swept, and then they were looking to get better. So one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted to improve their point guard position. So that's why they made that trade to get Mo Williams, because at that time, Mo Williams was really improving, and they thought that if they teamed up a point guard like that with LeBron James instead of Larry Hughes and Daniel Gibson, because Gibson's better coming off the bench, they thought that if they got Mo Williams, that would help them with their point guard situation. And of course, the Cavs made other trades, but we saw how that turned out. They couldn't win a championship. They couldn't get back to the finals. Then if we fast forward to LeBron James on the Miami Heat, guess what? He didn't play point guard for the Heat either. They had Mike Bibby. They had Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers. They didn't have LeBron James playing point guard. And if we look at the Cleveland Cavaliers today, guess what? LeBron is still not playing point guard. They have Kyrie, Deladova. They also got Shumpert from the Knicks. And Shumpert is an example of a shooting guard that actually does play point guard. And so that's why when you restrict this position in 2K, there needs to be a small list of shooting guards that can play that point guard position. Guys like Allen Iverson, he's a shooting guard. He's 6 foot, but he could play some point guard. Why not? Guys like Monte Ellis, he does it. Jason Terry does it sometimes. Eric Gordon does it sometimes. It's okay to have these players playing a point guard position, but not LeBron James, not James Harden. James Harden is the same thing. If you look when he was on the Thunder, guess what? They had Derek Fisher, they had Westbrook, they had Ivy. He didn't play point guard. Even right now on the Houston Rockets, he doesn't play point guard. They got Patrick Beverly. That's why every time that there's a point guard that's out there that wants to be traded, is going to be a free agent, they're in the mix. They're thinking about it because the point guard position is important. You don't just take a scorer and put him at the point guard position. Now, the reason why this restriction is desperately needed in MyTeam and in 2K and all the other modes as well is because when you do this, when you put LeBron there and Michael Jordan there and all these players, what you're doing, you're actually just eliminating the point guard position from the game, because your opponent cannot have a point guard on the floor if he has to defend LeBron James. Point guards are usually like 180 pounds, 190 pounds. Usually if they're tall, they might be like 6'3". How can you have a 6'3", 180 to 90 pound man defending a 6'8", 250 pound man? How can you have a point guard defend the GOAT, Michael Jordan? Point guards are not meant to defend shooting guards and small forwards. They're meant to go up and play against other point guards. There's only a handful of point guards in the game that could hold their own against a LeBron or Jordan, Kobe. There's only like 4 or 5 guys. You got Magic Johnson, Gary Payton, the big O, Oscar Robertson, and then you got Penny Hardaway. And that's basically it. Everybody else is going to be at a huge disadvantage. Why would you want to have a Steph Curry on the floor trying to defend LeBron James? Why would you want to have a Damian Lillard? Why would you want to have a Tim Hardaway? You can't do it. You're at a huge disadvantage. So this one little change, this one little lineup, it just eliminates the entire point guard position from the game. What's the point of using point guards if you could just take a tall scorer and throw him at the point guard position? There's all these great point guards in the game, but you can't really use them if you have to go up against this cheese, this point guard abusive cheese. So they've got to put a restriction on this point guard position, and it's going to drastically improve the gameplay. It's just like the 1-3-1 zone. Now that the 1-3-1 zone is out of the game, look at all the variety that you can have on offense. You can actually post up now. If somebody's running a 1-3-1 zone and you post up, you're going to be double teamed. Because of how they're standing in the passing lanes, you can't pass out to the open player. It's going to be easy to get stripped in the post. But now that it's not there, you can run post up offense, post plays. And speaking of plays, now you can run plays. People are actually running plays online because they're not going up against the 1-3-1 zone. You can actually run off ball screens, pick and rolls, various plays, and you could never do that in previous 2Ks if somebody was using a 1-3-1 zone. So just by making that one little change, it drastically improved the gameplay. And if they restrict the point guard position, the gameplay is going to drastically improve again, because now all of a sudden, all the point guards can be used. You can use everybody. You'll see Tim Hardaways and Jerry West. You'll see a wide variety of all these guards, and point guard play is so important in the NBA. No teams in the NBA can be successful without a point guard. You need that point guard, and it's the same thing in 2K. All these guys that people are using, like Kobe, Kobe's not a point guard. LeBron is not a point guard. A point forward is not a position. It's the same. That's how you describe somebody that's a forward that can dribble and pass, like Lamar Odom. Remember him? He wasn't a point guard. Yeah, he's a point forward, but he never played point guard. They always had Derek Fisher. Same thing with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan never played point guard. He had Ron Harper, Steve Kerr, B.J. Armstrong, Craig Hodges. None of these guys that are being used at the point guard position are point guards, period. You need point guards. You can't just take a scorer and put them there. It is cheese. If somebody wants to use a tall point guard, they're going to have to use Magic Johnson, Penny Hardaway. They're going to have to use those players. And those players, they're not like James Harden and Kobe and Jordan and LeBron. Yeah, they're tall and they're good, but they're not like that. They're not going to just eliminate an entire point guard position by using that player. And this is the only lineup restriction that is needed in the game. It doesn't matter if you put LeBron at shooting guard. That's not a big deal. It doesn't matter if you put him at power forward or center. If you put LeBron at center, yeah, you'll have some advantages, but you'll actually have disadvantages. It'll be a negative. Same thing, let's say you want to put Dwight Howard at small forward. Nobody cares if you put Dwight Howard. All the other positions, it doesn't matter. You can mix and match and do whatever crazy stuff you want to do. It's not cheese. You might have some advantages, but you're going to have disadvantages by doing that. But at that point guard slot, it's actually game breaking, and it effectively eliminates an entire position from the game. There's 5 positions, and no position should just get wiped off the face of the planet like a dinosaur because you got LeBron James playing there. It shouldn't happen. It is cheese, and going forward in the next games, they should just fix that cheese up. This is something that the 2K community loves to do. It's the same thing at the park. At the park, a lot of people complain that they're always playing against 7-footers. Everybody's a 7-footer. Everybody's doing all the same things. In the past, in park and crew, people used to be 10 feet tall. You know, everybody had a 7'5" guy. It was 7'5" versus 5v5, everybody's 7'5". And then when they found out how to glitch the game, everybody was 10 feet. That's what the community is gonna do. They're gonna take the tallest players and put them on the court. So 2K's gotta put an end to that cheese. They gotta stop that cheese. Bro, that 80 mid-range is higher than an 80. They just tell you it's an 80. It's higher than that. That's a bad shot. Look at KG on the glass. KG going for those boards. That's a lob to LeBron James. LeBron James.